64-bit legends. Welcome.
Legend of the game like GoldenEye, I'm more than right.
Yeah.
In the perfect dark is dreams that seem to come to life. 64-bit, the shit, it's as real as it
Yeah.
gets. We can
Yeah.
talk sports, games, and music, take your pick. Point with the news, pull up and crack a brew. Smoke one with the crew,
Smoke.
tune in and take a view.
Watch.
We here to raise the bar from the lowest mark. Sit your ass down and listen, it's time for the show to start.
Welcome, ladies and germs, to another episode of the 64-Bit Legends. As always, I am Bobby Caboose, looking for that hot tag. In my corner, Melvin Troy.
Yes, I'm
What's up,
tagging
man?
in. Well, not a lot. We just got off the stream,
The Turnbuckle Tuesday, man.
Turnbuckle Tuesday stream. So if you're not aware of that, go on YouTube.
If you're not with it, get with it.
Yeah, because there's not only is this podcast on YouTube, but the same channel.
Yeah.
You can watch Turnbuckle Tuesday
Right.
there. And you can find out who's gonna win against Nunman.
Yeah, there's a nun running wild.
Yeah.
And
You can't stop it.
Yes.
Fucking, it's a nun gun berserk.
But last time we left you off with some dirty jokes. Celebrating the life of Gilbert Godfrey a little bit.
Yes.
And some of our other favorite comedians.
Yes.
That past and present. This week we got another kind of cool niche topic that we're going to get to.
Yeah. I think this is something. I mean, everybody's always got these things, and we'll get into it real quick. But I did want to touch on, though, this just happened.
Yeah.
I think it was last night. Is that Elon Musk bought Twitter?
Yes, he did.
He
Free
just-
speech, baby.
Yep.
It is fucking America. I can say all the F words I want.
Didn't you get banned for a while off of Twitter?
No, I didn't get banned. That was off of Facebook.
Oh.
And my Twitter handle was the same as my Facebook, and I had to switch it all because somebody with the same name
That's right.
said that someone with the same name said they were going to put fentanyl in children's candy that like dressed up as Trump for Halloween. And people started attacking me on Facebook
God.
and Twitter and Instagram, saying it was, this is you, blah blah blah. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So
'Cause we had the same fucking handle.
So somebody
close enough.
on a different platform
Yes.
and came at you at Twitter.
Yeah. On my personal stuff, not my, not my Bobby Caboose, not my 64-bit legends, like
I
my
gotcha.
personal stuff.
Yeah,
And I had to switch all of that
Okay.
around. So
That's unfortunate. There was one time I had heard, I forget what it was, but like some celebrity, I want to say like Spike Lee or something, like gave out, there was like some murder or
Right.
killing, and he gave out like the address of somebody, like of whoever he thought perpetrated it, and it was the wrong address.
oh Jesus,
It was like the complete wrong, but it was like some celebrity. For some reason, Spike Lee comes to mind.
and
I
then
don't
you
know.
get millions of followers.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh no, this," and it was like someone completely different. Or there was like, it was something recently I seen. I can't remember where I looked up who it was. I heard somebody did something bad. I looked him up, and the first account I found like kind of matched the name, and like their first thing up top was like, "I am not this person.
Right.
Stop messaging me."
Well, that's what I put. I screenshot what the person wrote and put it on mine. It was like, this is not me, like whatever. And I kept getting fucking hate mail, dude.
People were like, "You're lying."
Yeah, you're a lying son of a bitch. Like we're gonna come find you and all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Jesus.
if anything, like, I would support Trump a little bit,
Well,
but
Well, oh yeah, that's right, because it was the anti
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so it's.
So.
I'm so glad that whole wave I think is over.
Right.
Finally, thank God. And I think Elon Musk getting on Twitter, because here's the problem. I was thinking about this recently. I think the problem with like some of the social media, like a Twitter, is that there are so many people that have been banned,
Right.
and so they all scatter off into these like offshoots. Like,
Yeah.
Trump's got a Twitter thing. There's like, what's that? There was Parler for a minute. There was like, there's one called Gab, I think. And there's all these different things, and they all, and it's like all you have are like the people that have been banned.
Yeah, it's like the canceled people.
Yeah, and we forget that a lot of people are banned online that truly need to be banned.
Right.
And so you have those people, and then there's the people that have like that are banned over something kind of like maybe I don't agree with it, but it's like, okay, is that really that big a deal?
Right.
And so they go to one of those platforms, and so you have all the crazies that can just say anything that normally would get banned forever. That's why the rules are invented. And then those people have to associate with them.
Right.
Like the middle people have to associate with them. And it's like, I think Twitter, kind of like maybe let's just see though, because there's a lot of Elon Musk projects that don't get off the ground.
I kind of hope the trolls are all in effect, dude. That like
OG internet.
Like yes,
Yeah.
like the OJ's fucking Twitter. Like I love reading the comments in that because it's like fucking hilarious to me. Like everything's just about him killing two people.
He's just talking about fantasy football.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, does Nicole enjoy fantasy football? Or I wish Ron was here to draft a team.
I honestly think that there's the pendulum swinging the other way, where like all of this cancel culture. I think there's still going to be like canceling, but I think the canceling won't be from this moral standpoint. It'll just be trolls again,
right?
Where you're like, fuck, man, these people are fucking with me, but they're all looked at as shitty instead of having like some moral superiority of like, oh, I'm gonna harass you because you don't fit my virtues.
Well, all these fucking people that try to cancel people and all that shit, they don't have any lives. Like
no, they don't.
They're fucking boring, and they're like, oh, well, I need something to either entertain myself or to make it seem that I'm making a difference in the world.
Somebody reached out to me not long ago, and I don't know all the specifics of it. Again, this is just somebody telling me. But if there was I guess there's like a small online community, and like one of the people were upset. And so what they decided to do was like dox people and like spam their shit out, and not really like, I don't know if they did anything like the old send pizzas or heaven forbid like a swatting. I don't think any of that happened, but I think they were just like spamming it just to fuck with them, and in places in public, and it's just like, why? Just what you can do, just fucking block the person you don't like, or maybe you just go to a different app or just log off for the day. Like I don't know a grown adult that's out there like doxing information on somebody for whatever reason.
And it affects like their whole day. Like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like this person tweeted this. I'm so fucking mad. I can't go on with my day until this is fixed.
Any people that do that type of shit, they do it hoping like they're going to feel better, and they never do. And they just continue to do it over and over and over again, and they know that's what they're doing, and they're just like living in this shithole bubble.
I'm like, man, go play a video game, go get laid, go do something, relieve some stress, go jerk off the fucking Hulk Hogan's action figure. You know, like fuck, dude.
Any winner would do that.
He ain't gonna judge you.
Drink a can of root.
Yeah,
that doesn't even, if you
it
have
doesn't
a
even
can,
exist anymore.
No, it
might be worth something.
Yeah, drink a can and save a can. That's what you need to do.
Speaking of root and commercials, I mentioned to you before we started recording, there's a commercial for Amazon, I believe, and it's about Medusa, right? Everyone knows the story of Medusa. She's got fucking snakes in her hair. She looks at people and they turn to stone, and she buys these glasses from Amazon so she can look at, she can go out in public. Without turning people into stone. And like they're like, oh, Medusa actually, she's pretty funny and she's the life of the party. Anyway, I was thinking, not about Amazon, not about Jeff Bezos. I don't give a fuck about that shit. But like origin stories, right? And Medusa's got an interesting one of like turning people into stone, right? Yeah. And, who knows if any of this is based off of fact, if there is an actual Medusa, or if it's just a myth or whatever. Right. But I was like, I wonder where this story came from, right? And I have no factual evidence of this. And I just wanted to run it past you because it ran past my mind when I was seeing this commercial.
Okay.
So Medusa turns people into stone, right? Well, back in, Medusa's day, if she had a day, it was probably small villages, of, I don't know how many people, but it's not like the world today. Well, what if Medusa was actually just like a very, very attractive chick, right? And from her turning people into stone, I'm doing air quotes, she's actually just turning dudes on and their dick is getting hard. Because wouldn't that fucking make sense?
I see
You
what
look
you're
into
saying.
her eyes, and she seduces you, and you get
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make sense as a fucking origin story?
Yeah, that's how it goes. And then it's like, oh, she'll turn you into stone.
Yeah, meaning
and then,
your dick is rock hard.
or and you're like frozen
Yes.
in love kind of
Yes.
thing. That makes more sense. And then as time goes on, when they're just telling the tale verbally, it just kind of shifts.
Right, and because like you tell one person, it's like the game telephone, right? You tell one person, you're like, hey, the frog ate my homework. By the time it gets to the end of the telephone, it says like Jared's fucking the swove. And you're like, how the fuck did it get to that? And you're like, I have no idea, but some, little bits of information change over the years.
Well, number one, it would explain how the Swovish people were able to populate that area. But number two, you're absolutely right. I think that there's a lot of those stories, like Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
Like Paul Bunyan probably was a dude who was actually just like a dope ass lumberjack, just
Right.
killing the game, and he probably had an ox that he carted his stuff on.
Or he could have blew it.
Maybe
Because
that
his name was Blue, I think.
it was
and
Babe, the big blue ox.
Oh, yeah,
That
whatever.
was what it was.
Yeah, but, maybe he was blue because he blew him.
And maybe and so like people were like, dude, have you seen Paul Bunyan? Like he can cut down trees like nothing. And next thing you know, a game of telephone, like that's how the Grand Canyon was made. Because Paul Bunyan dragged his axe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Or then there was what was his name? Pisco Pete. What was his name?
Johnny Appleseed?
Johnny Appleseed. Actually, there was something I heard about that where he was like, it was an alcohol thing. Like I think it was based in like you were able to make alcohol out of apples.
Okay.
And so he had like an operation of like, let's build, like get these apple orchards out there.
I figured he was just fucked up and he was like, let's fuck up all this land and put all these apples. Like he was just drunk doing it. And he's like, I'm going to be a menace and plant all these apple seeds. Now you're going to have to deal with my fucking apple orchards all over the land.
No. Let's see. I got it right here.
All right.
Johnny Appleseed. So this is a good one because somebody told me something that had to do with alcohol. So let me see how close I am. John Chapman, okay, from 1774 to 1884, was better known as Johnny Appleseed. Was an American pioneer nurseryman who introduced apple
was a
trees.
nurseryman.
Yeah, that's what he was known for.
In that nunnery.
He's going to nurse you. Who introduced apple trees to large parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Ontario, as well as northern counties. He became American legend. His leadership in conservation and symbolic importance is a tribute to apples. Okay, whatever. Yeah, he's the apple guy. But what is like the
He's the apple
reason?
guy. It's
There was a
because he was
reason.
drunk and he wanted to just piss people off by fucking putting apples down. He's like, how are you going to build a house when there's an apple tree right in the middle of your forest?
Yeah.
Like he thinks he's being a menace and like he's like twiddling his fingers and like doom. And like people are like, no, man, we really love these apples. And he's like, damn it. And he's just looking at the sky and he's like, God damn it. You're not supposed to like my fucking apples.
Yeah, I think. Let's see.
I think that's the real truth. He was just drunk and like trying to piss people off by putting apples everywhere.
Here it is. The popular image of Johnny Appleseed spreading apple seeds randomly everywhere he went. In fact, he planted nurseries rather than orchards, built fences around them to protect them from livestock, left the nurseries in the care of neighbors who sold trees on shares, and returned every year or two to tend the nursery. He planted the first nursery. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, he created like a fucking franchise of apple nurseries where it's like, hey, just take care of these things and then you sell your apples and I'm going to come back for mine later. Like that's different than like,
I'm going to come back for mine.
yeah.
Like,
Hey, do you sell all those apples? Appleseed's coming. Johnny Appleseed's coming. You better have your cash. Because he's going to want, he's like, yeah? Hey, where's mine? I gave you an apple nursery. What'd you do? You just pissed it all away. Now I'm left with nothing. He's got like a knife in his hand. He's twiddling it on the table. Be like, well, I'm gonna need something.
Yeah.
He looks at their kids. He's like, I'm taking the young one. I'm taking the boy with me. He's gonna help me plant, and the daughter's gonna be my wife.
We can do this the easy way or the Appleseed way.
He's like, I'm taking your children. I'll raise them as my own. That's what you.
He's like cutting people's fingers off.
Yeah. He's like,
You better have my money, bitch. I know you got that Apple money.
yeah, where's that Apple money? Where's it at? Where are you hiding it? He burns down their house. He's like, I gave you a nursery and you left me with nothing. That's the truth.
I'm coming back.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 6 months.
Yeah, there better be a full orchard. I gave you the tools.
I gave you the tools.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all these, I can't think of another one off the top of my head for these origin stories, but, they could have a completely different meaning from what we actually think it is.
I mean, there was, what was another one? What was the guy?
Jesus?
There was that movie. Did you ever see that movie as a kid, Tall Tale?
No.
With Oliver Platt as Paul Bunyan?
No.
And Patrick Swayze as
never heard
Pesco
of it.
Pete or something? What was it? Tall Tale. Hold on.
The only Swayze I know is Dirty Dancing
Well, this was like a Disney movie.
or Roadhouse.
It in 95. This was pretty legit. It was a Pesco. Oh no, Pesco Bill. That's
Crypto Pete.
Why did I call him
Same
Pesco Pete? Pecos. No, it's Pecos Bill. I'm mispronouncing it. Pecos Bill, because he was like the fastest gun in the West, and then it was like So there was this great story about a boy who, like, his family farm is going to get taken away, and so he gets kicked off the land or something, and then all of a sudden the legends of the Tall Tale come and help him. So you have John, what was his name?
Appleseed?
Not John Appleseed. John Henry. He was the black guy that would build a railroad like no other.
Yeah.
There was Pecos Bill. He was like a gun-fighting crime fighter, and then gun-toting crime fighter. And then there was Paul Bunyan. He had an axe.
So did the other two actually, do they have their own stories?
No. They don't have a story. They all come and help him like heroes.
Right, but Paul Bunyan has his own story.
Yeah, Pecos Bill or Pecos.
Does Pecos Bill have his own story? Does Pecos Bill, if he's the fastest gunslinger in the West or whatever, what if he wasn't really a gunslinger? What if he was the fastest draw or whatever because he couldn't last in the bedroom and he hooked up with a bunch of chicks, but he just came too fast?
I remember now. He was a good gunslinger, but what his big thing was, and in the movie, how he shows up is by a tornado. He was a cattle, I believe he was like a cattle rustler. Let's see. Pecos Bill's a fictional cowboy and folk hero set during the narratives. Let's see. According to legend, Pecos Bill was born in Texas. Pecos Bill family decided to move out because of his town was becoming too crowded. So Pecos Bill was traveling in a covered wagon as an infant.
He's like, fuck these people, I'm out.
And when he fell out unnoticed by the rest of the family near the Pecos River, thus the nickname, he was taken and raised by a pack of coyotes. Years later, he was found by his real brother who managed to convince him he was not a coyote. He grew up to become a cowboy.
So basically, he's mentally ill.
Yeah. Bill used a rattlesnake named Shake as a lasso and another snake as a little whip. His horse, Widowmaker, also called Lightning, was so named because he was Texas' first and most notorious serial killer. Whoa! What? I didn't know he was a serial killer.
See?
Leaving a trail of dead bodies across Texas?
See? You don't know.
Dynamite, the explosive, was said to be his favorite food. He was also said Bill sometimes rode a cougar instead of a horse. On one of his adventures, Pecos Bill managed to lasso a twister. It was also said he once wrestled the Bear Lake monster for several days until Bill finally defeated it.
Okay, so I'm going to break this down.
This guy's dark. I didn't know about
I'm going to break this down. That what it could be, just like my Medusa story, right? So he He sometimes rode a cougar. That could be riding like a hot chick who doesn't have a kid yet, in her 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
So he could be riding a cougar. He could be a player. Like he could be a fucking a G and get about a bunch of chicks, ladies' man, and then the fucking bear or whatever.
The bear-like monster.
The bear-like monster by the lake. That could just be a furry gay dude, and he could have defeated him with his dick. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you took down the bear." And he's
Did they have furries back then?
I don't know.
They just cover themselves in pelts.
Well, isn't that what they call like a bigger gay dude, a bear?
Oh yeah.
So he took the bear down.
I think you meant like someone in like a mascot.
No. They didn't have mascots back then,
That's
except for fucking Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah.
But he could have fucked the bear and took him down, and everyone's like, oh man, no one's ever been able to take the bear down. He usually does the fucking.
Yeah. So here's the thing. All right, wait a minute. So we've learned two things here so far. Johnny Appleseed, who is supposed to be a hero of the apple.
He was just a dick.
Was just like running a racketeering ring. Pecos Bill was just insane and just murdered people, rode cougars and shit.
I mean, if you were back in that time, why wouldn't you murder people? Like, you could just do whatever the fuck you wanted because there was no cameras and you could just leave town.
True. There was another one. What was the other? Oh, I wanted to look up
Huckleberry Finn.
That was like just a story. It wasn't like a
just
legend.
A story.
Yeah, but it was different. Oh, Paul Bunyan. That's the one I look at. All right. So he's apparently just a giant lumberjack. But like, did he? Because I want to say, does he have a dark side? Because we've seen a dark side on two American folk heroes.
I mean, maybe. But he could be like, okay, so people were much shorter then. So he could be like my height.
True.
You know?
Yeah, but they say he was 49 feet tall.
Well, I'm pretty close to 49 feet.
I don't know.
That's like Andre the Giant, man. Like if like
maybe, but maybe that's what his thing was. Let's see. Commentators say that Paul Bunyan is an example of fake lore, a literary invention passed off as older folklore. They point out that the majority of books about Paul Bunyan are composed almost entirely of elements with no basis of folklore. So he's just made up. That's
he's
just
stupid.
Fake. Paul Bunyan sucks. Get him out of there. He shouldn't have been in a Tall Tale movie. What about John Henry? He was like John Henry. He was to have worked as a steel driving man, the man tasked with hammer and a steel drill. Yeah, the story.
He's the working man.
Let's see. According to legend, John Henry's prowess as a steel driver was measured in a race against a steam-powered rock drilling machine. Oh yeah, that's right. So he was like the hero against technology, modernity of technology, and. So because he beat a steam-powered rock drilling machine by hand to show, like, you don't need your technology. Do it by the strength of my arm.
Like, so now today, like, if that happened today, someone would just, like, bash a computer.
Yes. Yeah, that would be basically like...
They're like, I don't need the internet.
The modern-day John Henry is someone who's like, oh, yeah? Give me a pen and paper. I'll compute math and equations for you no time.
The modern-day John Henry is like one of those people that stand in line for, like, a PlayStation 5 and, like, buys it and then just smashes it with a hammer in front of the rest of the line.
Yeah.
And they're like, you idiots.
So, yeah, that's... Well, listen, I don't think our heroes are what we think they are, and it's if we've learned anything so far. And another thing I think that we've learned, and I haven't really followed this, and I don't know if you followed it too much, but apparently, up until recently, I had an image that Johnny Depp was an abuser, that he beat his wife, and there was all sorts of chaos, and now it's come out. That is not true.
He is the abused.
He is the abused.
He looks like a little shy, timid.
He is
gent.
Yeah. I can't believe that he would do anything all that terrible.
So there was one part that Nate actually told me about that because he talks about like his substance abuse.
Oh yeah.
So, but
We're talking about the Johnny Depp. Like, there's a trial going on because he's suing his ex-wife for defamation. Yeah.
So they ask him about this box that he has, and they're like, they said something about like, did you hold your cocaine in this box? And he's like, well, he's like, I'm not gonna say that, but the box is big enough it could hold cocaine.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he said that, and then they were like, well, something about like carrying. I seen this clip where he was like, did you like carry cocaine in it? He's like, well, the way the box is, if I carried it, there wouldn't be cocaine in it for very long because it would leave a trail. Because I guess the box didn't seal.
Right.
But I've watched little clips on like TikTok or whatever that have like him kind of like giving these answers where it's like, this is kind of ridiculous. And I seen some recordings of where like apparently she like cut off his finger. And they got in a fight and she cut off his finger. Like,
yeah, I guess she videotaped him like when he was drunk, and like he was like slamming shit, and he's like, "Are you videotaping me?" And he takes her phone and throws it, and then like it scuffles, and then she picks up the phone just smiling, and like, "I got you," like.
Yeah. See, that's just like
antagonizing.
Yeah, that's a perfect word for it. Yeah, antagonizing, thinking that she's got something, and it's just gross. And then apparently she shit the bed.
Yeah.
She just left a big old shit. Apparently it was a spite shit.
Yeah, he was gonna go home, and his like housekeeper was like, "You might not want to come home right now." I guess there was a giant log on his bed.
How mad you gotta be? Like, God damn it! I'm gonna put a turd in his bed.
Well, she's got to either be like naked, right?
Yeah.
Because she's got to go wipe her ass. Like, you're not gonna just pull up. What kind of underwear or whatever you're wearing. Or I was thinking she might have been wearing like a skirt or a dress and she could just lift that up. But she still got to walk to the bathroom to wipe her ass. Unless she wiped her ass with the bed, which that would have been fucking...
Just left a streak on her way out. Oh, God. I feel bad for him. I'm going to be honest with you. If someone's shit in the bed, that to me is a deal. If you're purposely shitting the bed, that's a deal breaker for me. That is like, I'm not even going to entertain anything further. I'm like, nope, you're out. Get out.
Yeah.
Don't be shit in the bed. Now, I understand accidents happen, but if it's a spite shit,
yes,
no spite shit's allowed.
I'd probably burn that bed. Shit just grosses me out, man.
I don't like poop. No, I
but
agree.
Speaking of deal breakers,
yes,
that's what the episode... What our main topic was, we came up with some deal breakers or scenarios to see if if it would be a deal breaker for each other.
Yeah,
and we can discuss our own feelings on both scenarios. We can get each other's take on each one.
Well, everybody's got different things, and what could be a deal breaker for you may not be so much a deal breaker for me.
Right.
And I think that as I've gotten older, that list, I don't think the list has grown for me. I think it's just changed.
Yeah.
I think as I've grown, like things that used to be a deal breaker aren't anymore.
They're tweaked over time.
Yeah.
You can deal with more shit. I think as you grow older.
Yeah.
And you mature, even though like I don't think I'm mature at all.
No, neither am I. I mean, I'm sitting in a room with Sonic memorabilia, so it's...
We're in the green... What was it? The green...
Green Hills.
Green Hills Studio.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bought like 4 boxes of Sonic cereal the other day, just because I knew it was limited.
It's only here for a limited time. I gotta get a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's so salty. But my first scenario, my first deal breaker is, or it's not necessarily a deal breaker. We'll see if it's a deal breaker. But the scenario is you meet a girl at the bar, right?
Okay.
You're out for drinks. You meet the girl at the bar. You're having a good conversation, and she's from out of town.
Okay.
She wants to take you back to her hotel at at the end of the night. You guys have been having a good conversation. Blah blah blah. And you get to her hotel, and you guys are still talking. Maybe a little makeout sesh, but she then informs you that she's on her period with a heavy flow,
Okay.
but she's leaving tomorrow. So this is the
I
one
see.
opportunity for you to hook up with her.
This would be like a one and done, no one would know type of thing.
Yep.
So do you have
make a bloody mess?
Yeah.
Or do you just, all right, well, we had a good time.
I'm gonna be honest. That is not if it's a one and done. I don't. Well, no,
and you can
I
ask
take it
questions.
back.
I mean, you can ask questions. You can be.
Well,
you know.
okay. So it depends. I mean, that's tough.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah. What is yours?
It's an absolute deal breaker. I can't.
Is it?
I can't do a chick on a period. It fucking grosses me out.
It's not preferable. But
I just can't do it.
If there's a real connection there and you have one shot, one opportunity, do you
to seize everything that you ever want?
Yeah. Do you take it?
Because
I would probably be like, whatever. Let's just see where this goes. Now, granted, I would make sure to
protect yourself.
Yeah.
Before you wreck yourself.
Yeah. But I don't think that wouldn't necessarily be if it was just something like I'm on the fence. No, I wouldn't do it. If there wasn't like a real thing there. But if it was a legitimate, like I felt something, yeah, I would
See,
say
I couldn't do it. Like I stay away, and I just can't do a chick when she's on her period. Like,
it's not
grosses me
preferable,
out.
but
I can't do it.
No, yeah, I've it's a couple times in my life. I think once unknowingly, and then once knowingly because it was one of those types of scenarios of like when I was much younger. Now, granted, I was a much younger man, so now that I'm older, I don't have that same drive of
right.
that fear of loss of like, well, if I don't do something now, it's
who knows when the next time.
Yeah,
you don't got that worry.
But yeah, I think that it would really have to. I'd really have to want it, and then I would kind of just deal with that. So no, I would say mostly no, not a deal breaker. Mostly.
Mine is absolutely 100%. It's a deal breaker. I'd be like, you know what? Sorry, I can't do it. If you're ever back in town, hit me up. But otherwise, have a good night.
Okay. Well, I mean, but you know what? If we're just looking at that box, like in that vacuum. So if there was like, if it was like, you'll never see this person again. This is your one shot, one opportunity. I would say yes. If there was an opportunity to be like, hey, maybe we could set something up in the future, then I would say no.
Right.
Then I would be like, you know what? Let's just wait. It'd be better to wait and do it right.
Right.
Than to rush into it. So I guess that's the caveat to it. No, that's interesting. Now see, mine, I took a different approach.
All right.
Mine wasn't set up that way. So a deal breaker for me, and I don't know, maybe this is for you. But you're at a party, right?
All right.
Or just any kind of social event. Doesn't have to be like a traditional party,
Right.
but just any
gathering or
any sort of like a bunch of people are there. Maybe you're probably having drinks, and you get the person, you get like cornered.
Okay.
Okay. You get somebody, and this happens sometimes when you're at a party or something and you don't know a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you're just like talking to everybody.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you get linked up with that one person that everyone avoids, but you don't know any better.
Yep.
And they're usually wanting to talk to you about like you're having a good time, keeping things light. Because you're out there, right? You're out there trying to navigate the seas of conversation. Be like, oh, talk a little bit over here. Oh, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you over there. Oh, okay, hey. Oh, really? You do this for a job? Great. That's interesting. That's really cool. Your eyes are always drifting, looking to see what other faces are out there. And then all of a sudden, it's like, so anyway, the lizard people that come out of the ground that run our currency, what about them? And you're like, what?
Wait, what?
Wait, what now?
The lizard people.
You get those conspiracy, like they want to talk conspiracy with you. Like all of a sudden the conversation takes a turn, and it almost ties in like there's like three major things. two are very related that this happens with: conspiracy theories and religion.
Yep.
Now, religion is more traditional. Most people know that in a social setting, not to really discuss, like, you're having drinks. Hey, this is a good time, man. Did you catch that game out there? Yeah. Do you know about the Lord? It's like...
Did you know Jesus died for our sins?
Yeah. They're like, oh, man, looks like so-and-so, LeBron did good on the court today. Yeah, it was because of the power of Jesus. And then people know better. But the conspiracy stuff... That's always like it kind of weasels its way in there because it's not quite taboo, and it starts usually simple about like, oh, you drinking the bottled water. I don't know about you, that's got fluoride, and you're like, ooh, what about it? What fluoride? What's going on? And you're like, oh yeah, you know about fluoride, right? They put it in the water to boost your estrogen and no longer make you a man. What? So anyway, my question to you is, you're at a party in that scenario. Is that a deal breaker, or is that somebody that you're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to entertain this for a while? Do you just stop them and be like, bro, I can't even deal with you? Or do you kind of like, let's just see where this goes?
All right, so a little bit of both, because I'm not going to, like, usually, well, actually, I'm kind of second-guessing my own answer now because there's alcohol involved.
Yeah.
And when there's alcohol involved, I'll just straight up tell you, like, dude, I don't want to fucking talk about this. But sober Bobby would be like, hey, like, kind of entertain it, be like, but like, it'd most likely be like 1 or 2 word answers from me.
Yeah.
To try to get to them, like, that I don't want to talk about this. Like, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I wonder what fucking Jerome's doing over there.
Yeah.
But drunk me, I know I would be like, dude, shut the fuck up. I don't want to fucking talk about fucking fluoride in the water. I don't want to fucking talk about Jesus coming back in 2 weeks. I don't want to talk about how a fucking rocket hit a ceiling when it got lifted off. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to talk about you can go to one side of the earth and just fall off.
Oh yeah, flat earth, it kind of falls in that category too. Yeah.
So it's definitely a deal breaker. Would I leave the party? No. Would I try to find the one person or 2 people that I know? Yes. And then I would be like, what the fuck is up with Metaverse Mark over here? What the fuck is he talking about? And then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we should have told you to avoid him."
Yeah, I've gone different ways on it. When I was younger,
because you like to antagonize people as far as like making fun of them to their face without them knowing that you're making fun of them. I know you. That's exactly what you're.
Well, I used to do that when I was younger. Now I just don't have the patience for it because it's like, yeah, I used to entertain it. And then the problem was I surrounded myself. I wouldn't surround myself on a regular basis, but like in that scenario, I'd be in a new group of people, and then all of a sudden, like, I'd feel comfortable because I'm like, oh, I think I made some connections here at least, so I feel comfortable, But then it's like I get lumped in with the rest. It's like, yeah, this guy hangs out with like, Metaverse Mark over here talking about the fucking fluoride, and you're like, wait, that's not. Don't lump me in with that.
It goes back to your elementary career where you turned on all your best friends like Jimmy Gruber or whatever the hell his name is.
That was the name, yeah. But the thing, no, not all of them. It was just him because he was kind of an asshole.
You fucking turned on him after he was your best friend.
No, I did not. He turned on himself. That's what he did. Okay, let's be real here.
You fucking turned on him.
He couldn't keep up.
You turned heel.
I was living life in the fast lane, and he was trying to pass me doing 55.
You turned heel on him.
No.
And you're like, wait, this dude is a loser. He was my only friend for weeks, but then I realized he's a loser.
Yeah. Well, okay. True. That's what happened. Because then I knew that he wasn't worth the time. It was like, this guy's going nowhere fast.
Oh, God.
He's got to get his shit together.
He opened up to you and was your only friend.
He didn't open up to me. He punched me in the eye.
Yeah, after you turned on him.
Yeah, but he took Colin's crutch.
After you turned on him.
Yeah, it's tough to say who turned on who on that one.
All right, speaking of the Jimmy Grubers of the world, the next one is, all right, so you win a contest, right?
Yeah.
You enter a contest, you win it. It's a free dream vacation, free
Okay.
for a week.
Okay.
The only thing is you have to go with a person like that that you, or how did I word this? That annoys you the most. And you have to spend like the majority of the time with them.
Okay, so dream vacation, but you have to spend it with somebody that you don't like to spend time with.
Right. That you can maybe take in small doses, but a week is going to be like, I could think of one person that I would love to say his name, but, I'm not going to do that. Kind of shaped like Grimace.
Wait a minute, what? I'm trying to think.
Me and B went to his wedding.
Oh, I would definitely go on a vacation with that dude. Are you kidding me? That'd be great.
Yeah, okay.
That would be so cool.
But that's who like would be one of my people.
Yeah.
But someone that annoys you the most.
Okay. I'm trying. See, the thing is, it's like, I don't know, because I don't really have too many people in my life that like, or that I've had surrounded in my life that annoy me. Like I'm pretty easygoing. So I don't know. And to go on a vacation, what's interesting though is when you do that, you kind of like learn new things about them, and you kind of like create like a new bond. And I've traveled with people that I normally wouldn't want to be around.
Right.
I've done it for work
Right.
and jobs. Or I've roomed with people for like stretches of time that I would never want to share a room with ever.
Right, but
So-
also you were working, so you weren't in that room the whole time, and you weren't with them fucking almost
True,
24/7.
true.
So imagine going with like them and spending like 10 hours a day.
Oh,
with
so
them.
you'd have to like do everything
Yes,
together.
it's you two out of it. Like you do excursions, you're with that person. You go to the bar, you're with that person. You go to eat, you're with that
I
person.
see.
Basically, it's like, not a couple's resort, but like, like
Yeah.
you're not going to do things alone. You're going to do everything that you have booked, they have booked as well.
See, the problem is I there's nobody that I can ever really think of that in my life ever that I could say I cannot be in the same room as this person. Like,
Right.
unless
But
there's
that's
like
unlimited time though as well. Right?
true, but
'Cause
like
I have people that like I'm cool with a lot of people, but like some people I need to take in small doses.
well, do I have is this forced upon me, or is it like am I electing to take this trip knowing that this person's there?
It's you won this trip.
Okay.
This person's going with you. Do you accept the trip or not?
Got it. All right.
And-
So I'm
and-
looking at it different. So yeah, if I was forced to do it, I could do it. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Like I'd be like, all right, whatever. I'll just deal with whatever.
Right.
And I'm sure we'll find some common ground somewhere. And if not, I'll just put my fucking headphones on and ignore them. It's whatever. But if I would elect to do it, probably not. Simply because there are times that there are things that I would typically want to do with people that I do want to spend time with.
Right.
That I don't want to. When a time comes, I'm like, I don't even want to leave the house.
Right.
So
it's almost like
so if
you
it
would
was-
rather pay for a vacation and go with the people that you would want instead of taking a
Yeah.
free one with someone that you don't want to
because
go with.
I've had trips like I took a trip before. Well, I'll even say that I took a trip to Europe one time for 2 weeks
Right.
with family.
Right.
And I like the idea of it. But the thing is like spending two whole weeks every day
Right.
with family. And family, like, you don't necessarily see all the time.
Yeah.
Like, they're a little bit more extended. Like, at first you can kind of do that, but after a while, like, my patience are gone.
Then you run out of things to say.
Like, I remember I was like a week, and I felt bad because I was in a place that I knew I'd only be at maybe, if lucky, a handful of times in my life. But I'll never forget, like, after about a week, I was like, I'm kind of ready to go home.
Right.
Like, I know I got another week, but I'm kind of ready just to go back to my life and like be like away from everybody.
Right.
So, yeah, it would have to depend on the duration. Like I could probably do a weekend. I could maybe do a week if the vacation was like really worth it.
Right.
I could probably do that. But if it was anything like, and it would I don't even know. It literally would have to be a place that I would go to that would be fun, like a Disney World. Like if you told me like you have a Disney World vacation but you have to go with X person, I would be like, fuck it, dude. I can deal with that.
Right.
If I'm joining the hip. But if it's just like I'm stuck on a boat, or hey, you're gonna go sightseeing, like this is interesting, but that would wear on me. So that would be the only way I could do it. But otherwise, no. I would just be like, nah, I'm good. I'd sell it or something.
Yeah, it depends on it really depends on the person that you go with, because like you could be stuck with one person, like say you had nothing in common with this person either, and like it's hard to find a common ground or even conversation. Like you're like eating breakfast, eating lunch, eating dinner.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, you're probably gonna loosen up a little bit if you drink, and that would probably be the best scenario, but
there was times when I went to Europe, like we would stay with extended family. Like I had family that lived there in Europe, and that's who we'd stay at their house, which was great. Save a lot of money. We'd go and have breakfast at someone's house every day, or most days, or maybe we'd go to someone else's. But there was times in the morning where I'm tired and I don't want to talk to nobody.
Right.
But the thing is like these are people I only see a handful of times, so I don't want to like be rude. But at the same time, I was like, I have no patience, and I just like. I remember one of the last days we were there, and I was tired. It might have been the last morning before we had to go on the plane, and I was exhausted. I had no patience, and I was kind of I regret. Like it was in my head. I was like, I don't think I would do this trip again for this long, because they're gonna remember me only on the last couple days where I was just being a dick because
asshole.
Yeah, that I was just tired of being around people. So, it's a good question. I mean, what? And you said no. You would just.
I would. It like you said, it kind of depends on the location of like if you're sightseeing or stuff like that, where you're like alcohol is not involved, you're not on a beach. You're not at Disney World. You're not doing much but kind of just walking around and seeing shit. Absolutely not. If there's alcohol involved, I could probably get through it. I actually kind of had a scenario like this. I mean, it wasn't one-on-one with the person that I disliked. There was 5 of us, but still that's not that big of a group.
Right.
But me and the person that don't see eye to eye very much, the first day we made like an understanding, like, look, you know, I don't like you, you don't like me, like we're on the same fucking vacation, you know, let's make it work. And it did. It worked because we had an understanding. We're like, all right, we're not going to try to annoy each other. We're not going to try to piss each other off. We're just going to have a good time. And it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do it. There's things that you can, you know, again, I think people can bond over an experience, or if you have multiple people that you can they can drift in the background for.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Mine's a little bit more narrowed down. Same type of thing though. So kind of going off of. So, I guess you could look at it. There's 2 different ways to look at it, but we'll keep it broad. Where it's somebody you hang out with somebody.
Okay.
And I guess it would really only work because it would really only work if it was a girl. Because if it was a dude, it really wouldn't play out. But it's somebody like you're hanging out, and then you realize like they take no interest in you.
Okay.
So you're always talking in either one-on-one or in a small group. Maybe there's a third person there.
Right.
But they don't ask you anything about you. They just kind of talk about how cool they are, or just kind of like ramble on about the stuff that they do, or if they do ask you something, it turns into something about how cool they are. Now, for a dude, so I ask you this: is it a deal breaker for a dude, or is it and would it be a deal breaker for if the person was a girl?
Okay, for a dude, yes, it's a deal breaker because Grimace. I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh yeah, good example. That's right.
He does that all the time.
I forgot about that.
You're like with a guy, like it's like, dude, yeah, I get through. If you want to talk about, shit that you're going through or whatever, it's one thing.
Right.
But like, if you're never gonna ask me like about me or I don't have to be that selfish, but like, I don't want to always hear about you, or like if I'm going through some shit, like I don't need you to be like, well, that's all, that sucks, but let me tell you what I'm going through, like almost like a one-upper. Can't fucking do it. That's definitely like me and this person, whether if it was a guy, would not be like we could be friends, but it's someone that I'm not going to be hanging out with all the time.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question with the girl scenario. Is the girl like someone you're interested in? Is she interested in you? Like, because that makes a big difference.
Well, I mean, it'd have to be like,
or is it just friends?
Well, yeah, there'd have to be like an interest, like a possible interest for like. So yeah, so if you're, because this is to be obviously. Let me back this up. In this scenario, it isn't somebody that you've known for years. Maybe it is somebody typically that you
just met.
That you kind of are. Yeah, you're kind of newly hanging out with them. Maybe I should have prefaced that better. But yes, you're kind of newly hanging out with them. Do you continue to hang out with them? This is a better way to ask it. Do you continue to hang out with them when you experience that, or do you kind of power through and kind of see if maybe that changes at all?
I would probably power through if you're like talking, because that's not like a huge deal. Yeah, it gets annoying after a while, but like.
You just kind of see like
you kind of see if this is like, okay, is this how you really are? Is this like you wanting me to get to know you type thing, but like it would kind of like start to be a deal breaker if she didn't want to know anything about me. Like, I'm right. Well then what am I there for? You just want to tell me about yourself and me being like, oh cool, like, so it all really depends on how long have you guys been talking? How long has this been going on? And, I would probably wait it out for a little bit to see if it changed a little bit and see if she started asking me questions or, like, wanting to get to know me. But, yeah, at the beginning, it wouldn't be a deal breaker.
But as a dude, for a dude, though, would you shut that down?
I would probably shut that down because at least with the girl, there's interest and there's possibly getting something out of it.
True, yeah, yeah. There's that possibility. See, for me, there's been times I've ridden that out a little too long, like especially for a girl, but even with like a dude, like as like I want to just go out and hang out with somebody,
right?
And then they'll go and they'll just but then after a while, you kind of start to dig a little bit and just see how, like, okay, what kind of crazy story are you going to tell me next?
Yeah, and then
type of thing.
And with the dude too, like sometimes like the people that I've dealt with that are like that, sometimes it's like the initial, like every time you see them, it's like the initial conversation maybe for like 15-20 minutes, and then you get past that and you talk about some common interest type shit. So you can get past it, but like if it's like constant and that's all they fucking want to talk about, I want to fucking hang out with you.
All right, well I think we agree on that one.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one.
All right, I got another dating one.
All right.
So you start dating a girl, and it's going good. She's your type. You guys get along. You're having a good time. You've been seeing each other for anywhere from a few weeks to a couple months.
Okay.
And she has something to tell you.
Okay.
And she's like, I gotta tell you something, and she tells you that she is an OnlyFans.
Okay, so she's on OnlyFans. Okay, gotcha.
So, do you stay with her? Or
interesting. So that's an interesting one. Now, I've never encountered this in real life because
neither have I.
OnlyFans is kind of new anyway. But I would probably, honestly, I would start to ask more questions.
And she's popular on. It's
Okay.
Not, it's not like
Okay.
she like. It's not like she's got no followers or whatever. But she's not like.
She's able to like.
That's how she makes her income.
Then I probably, if I had a true connection, I probably wouldn't care, because at that point it's like, this is your income. You're gonna treat this like a business, and if you're handling your business with it, good for you. Like that's great. Like it's not something I would do. Like I would never like take part in it.
Right.
Because there's like I've
Like
heard
cucks and shit.
Yeah, I would never do any of that shit, and I would probably, I would have a caveat of like, just no other dudes,
Right.
But no, if you and if you were already doing that before I met you, I can't stop. That's your business. I can't be like, well, if you're with me, you have to give up your business. Like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. That's not right. So I would have to like face that and be like, okay, so am I really into this person? If I am, I'm gonna have to accept that. And
Right.
If not, then if I would have to face that. But ideally, no, I don't think that would be a deal breaker, because I think that if something were to, what's the concern on it is like, oh well, other dudes are looking at. That's fine. I would rather that than if they were at a strip club.
Right.
Because at a strip club, you got people in person that can, you don't know what can happen.
Right.
You don't know the temptations that can be put in front of you. Somebody online, well, shit, dude, if you're making bank, never having to touch or actually see anybody, fucking go for it, dude.
Right. That's kind of how I feel. Like if it was, I couldn't do like with a stripper or a porn star or something like that. But like having an OnlyFans, taking pictures, videos, like you said, as long as I'm not in it.
Now,
what I would be like, not weirded out, but like what would probably bother me the most is like if her face was in it, all the shit. But
if it was her full-time job,
yeah,
and if she's doing well enough where she doesn't need a job elsewhere, it's whatever. And in my opinion, now, okay, so here's the difference though. So if I met her and she's already doing it, that's would be one thing. If I was with somebody and they're like, hey, I want to give it a try, and we don't know if it's going to be successful or not,
right.
That's where I would be like, are you sure? Like, do you not want to try a different avenue?
Right.
Like, that's kind of like
that might be the deal breaker.
That would be a tougher one.
Two is like, say that she doesn't get anyone, then that's gonna hit her fucking self-esteem,
right?
And then you're gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then if she blows up, then you're like, she might fucking leave you anyway because she's getting all this attention from other things.
Yeah. Well, I would say in that scenario, if I was with them already and then they started it, my fear would be if it didn't take off. If it did take off and took off quickly, great. That's easy street for me. Because again, I would then be like, okay, hey, it's working for you, and it's not like impacting my life or our life
or
together.
Your relationship.
That's fine. But if it's this thing of like you're kind of having to chase it, and you're kind of like, and it's really like impeding on that, then I would say
I would probably just be like, look, I'm not gonna videotape or take pictures of you. Like, you do this all on your own. Like, I don't want anything to do with it. But if you do it, that's fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But just don't involve me.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. But I don't know. It would have to depend. Just to give a blanket statement, like if I already met them, or if they've already started before I met them, then hey, that's so be it. If there's a real connection there,
right? That's pretty much how I think too. Like I wouldn't be able to fucking date a fucking porn star or fucking stripper, but.
Well, I got one that's a little bit more simple than this. This is kind of a black and white scenario.
Right.
Okay, this is quick
Michael
and easy.
Jackson.
Yeah,
Black or white.
You meet somebody.
Yep.
Dude, girl, whatever. We can play it with both sides of the fence here. We can shoot and see if it was you met a dude as a friend, or you met as a girl as a potential relationship, and you find out that they are
your brother.
No. That'd be weird. Like, what? They pull off a mask. They're like, ta-da, gotcha.
Oh, by the way, the other week on AEW,
Yeah.
Sting took off a Sting mask in the crowd.
Oh, I love it. I can never get tired of the Sting in a Sting mask.
They did it again in
I was
AEW.
like, oh, man, who's this guy in the Sting mask? Oh, it's Sting. Who
Yep.
would have thought?
Then he started punching people.
I like that that's his new coming down from the rafters. He's like, well, we can't do that because that's too risky and he's kind of old, so just put him in the crowd with a Sting mask. Surprise.
It's Sting.
No, you find out that they are really big fans of Pete Davidson.
That's not a deal breaker at all. Whatever.
To me, done. I don't care what gender you are. You're out. Get him out of here.
I mean, people like what they like.
Not that guy.
Fucking
He's ridiculous.
King of Staten Island, dude. It's a decent movie.
I won't see it. I refuse.
It was decent.
I refuse to see it. If you're, I'm gonna tell you something.
Now, if you're a Keenan Thompson fan, get the fuck out.
No,
Just
Keenan's okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah, who doesn't like Keenan?
I have no problem.
He's like the best Keenan.
I mean, it is what it is.
No, if you're a Pete Davidson fan, you can just go fuck off. You can fuck right off. You can get the hell out of here.
Well, that was it. Just that.
That was it.
All
That
right.
was,
I'm cool.
that was the one I sat here thinking about for a while. I was like, how do I word this? Oh, yes. Are you a Pete Davidson fan?
Yes or no? I don't really care, guy or girl.
No, I'm shutting it down. I'm not allowing that son of a bitch in my household.
All right, I only got two more.
All right.
And one of them, I'm gonna save the last dating one last. But this one, a job. You get a job offer, right? For 20 to 30,000 more than you're making now.
Okay.
But it's a well-known toxic environment.
All right.
Do you accept the job?
I'm making 20,000 more
20
than I
to
am
30,000 more.
now. Than I currently am right now.
Yes, but it's like well known as this place is gonna fucking make you probably miserable.
Well, it depends on where that 20 to 30,000, what tax bracket that would put me in, because it may not actually be worth it at all. You get to a certain point,
I know.
and you're like, and that may put me in that threshold where I'll be like, yeah, I think I'm good, but it may not. I don't know though, because what I would have to do if I knew going in that I'm like, look, I can make an extra $30,000 a year doing this. And then I could put a timestamp on it. Then I'm like, okay, so how long? Because knowing there's an end date,
Right,
I could serve that time.
like a contract.
Yeah, like I could serve that time. I could figure it out because what I would do is I'd be like, okay, all I got to do first year, mind my P's and Q's. Second year, let off the gas. If I'm only gonna stay there 3 years. Third year, fucking, I'm gonna go nuts. Like I don't give a fuck. And I've done that places. I remember there was a job that I had, and I literally sat out from. I didn't sit out, but I literally put myself on coast mode from like August until February, and I didn't. And then from there, it got extended until May.
I remember this job.
Yes. And in that period of time, because I was in literal don't give a fuck mode,
Right.
but it kind of bled into the rest of my life, and I ended up putting on fucking like an additional like 60 pounds.
Well,
and
that's
fucking like
it just doesn't affect your work life. It affects everything.
Yeah.
Because this is an absolute deal breaker.
and that was less than a year. So
I've been in the same situation where like I didn't want to get out of fucking bed to go to work.
Yeah.
And I was only at this particular job for like 9 months.
yeah.
And I after like 5, I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, that one's what makes that tough though. Like if you know it going in, I think that's different because again, I would find an exit strategy beforehand and be like, all right, I'm going to bank my money, and at this checkpoint,
Right.
I'm going to look for another job, and I will bank. Like I would take all the extra money I had, and I'd almost like gamble it. Like I'd put it aside in an account, and be like, all right, worst case scenario, I make it this far. If I don't make it that far, hey, I've got all that money banked. or I make it and in between there, I find another job at this point in time. But what makes it terrible about a toxic work environment is the unknown of how long do I have to do this for?
Right.
Will it get any better? Will it change for me? Will when's the next opportunity? The unknown drives me absolutely insane.
But then you got your coworkers as well. Like when your coworkers bitch about like everything,
oh yeah,
that fucking takes a toll on you too, because
Right.
then you start thinking like they think,
Right,
And
right,
you're like,
right.
man, this shit fucking sucks.
Yeah, and that's like, I learned that because I used to be the guy when I was in that mode and I was in that mode. I was in that mode steady, like I said, from like an August until like May, almost a year. But I was kind of already in that mode even beforehand, but I just really hadn't let off the gas yet.
Right.
I was kind of and what it was is I would find somebody that was also miserable, and we would join forces in our misery together.
Misery loves company.
Yes. I mean, I made a good friend out of it for a while. You met him.
I did.
And then when I left there, we stayed in contact for a little bit, but really I was like, he still works there. And I'm like, oh, man. Because last time I talked to him since I had left and he was still there, all of a sudden he was Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky over there. And I was like...
Because you were the piece of shit.
Well, no, in that amount of time, he switched positions. He ended up getting married. He bought a house. I think they have a kid now. So, I mean, so it all, like, he
His
stuck
life
it out.
got better when you left.
No, he's...
Definitely.
Well, I
He
don't know.
switched positions. He got married. He
Well,
had
I
a
mean, we
kid.
both switched into the same position at the same time. And then he went and progressed, and I was still miserable. I was like, I'm still not happy here. But anyway, no, if I knew in advance and it was going to be worth it for me, I could make it worth my while. Absolutely, I would do it. But yeah, but I would, it would just depend. It would depend on if after taxes and my lifestyle, if I would put in that amount of time. And it would also, though, depend on like how much time it would take for my life. Like if it was toxic, but I only needed to go into the office a few days a week and work from home.
No, you're going in every day. There's no remote.
And okay, well, is it 8 hours a day? Is it 10 hours a day? Like that's another difference. Is it a long commute?
That just depends on...
Yeah, if it's a long commute, like an hour and a half commute for that extra $30,000, they can fuck off. Like I don't even care, toxic or not. I'm not even gonna do that. So yeah, that's my thing. I mean, you just like even knowing in advance, you wouldn't even mess it.
No, because dude, I've been there, man. It fucking sucks, and you have too. But
Yeah.
like just waking up knowing you have to get out of bed and going to this place that you fucking hate with a bunch of other people that fucking hate it, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, no, I that is true. That is true.
And then, like you said, it takes toll on your personal life. You fucking gain weight. You start, when you get home, you don't want to do shit because you're already fucking in a pissed off mood.
Yeah, I remember I wouldn't sleep well because I
Right.
would come home because it would.
And you're just dreading tomorrow.
Because I'm working 9 hours. I remember there was a total of like an hour and a half round trip commute on top of that. So we're talking 10 and a half hours. And then I get home and I want as much of my own brain time to myself as possible. So I would purposely stay up super late
Right.
just to enjoy not being there. And then I wouldn't sleep, so it would actually like make it worse the next morning.
Right.
Because now I'm super tired and I don't want to go in. Like there was one time I remember I got to the parking lot and I didn't cry. Personally, I was almost ready to. I was like, man, I just don't want to do this. But there was when I got in, I think it was either the same day or the day after, someone told me, he was like, I have to quit. Like, I broke down in the car. I don't want to be here anymore. And I was like, dude.
You guys are just sitting next to each other in the
Yeah.
parking lot crying. Do you have any more? Because I got one more.
Well, you do yours, and I got one more after that.
All right. So this one's a little lighter.
Okay.
All right. So another dating scenario. You start dating a girl, and after a couple weeks, like, you're ready to get it in.
Okay.
You're about to hook up.
I like that we're waiting a few weeks, that I'm actually having, I'm being a little old-fashioned.
Yeah,
with it.
because that gives it, like, substance, like you might want to stay with this person. Right?
True. Okay.
So you get to know her, blah blah blah. You guys get along. You're not really sure if it's long term thing yet, but you finally see her naked.
Okay.
And she has a very noticeable deformation on her body. Whether it's a fucking
like a tail or something.
Whether it's a tail like Shallow Hal, whether it's a fucking like a weird ass mole, whether fucking her legs aren't the same fucking length.
Well, I mean, if I didn't notice
she has a spike coming out of her back or something.
A spike, like a stegosaurus.
Yeah.
I would say, well, okay. So if I don't realize it until that moment, it wouldn't be something that big, and I would by this point, again, if there's a connection there, I'd probably be like, okay, hey, everybody's got their thing, So I would probably, but again, this would be, we're talking, it's been a few weeks. This is something I don't notice until that very moment. I would probably be like, all right, why not? If I'm really wanting to be like in a relationship, I'd be like, you know what? I think I could probably.
I can deal with
see where
that
this goes.
fucking fourth hand.
I mean, if it's a
hand.
fourth hand, I would probably know. Like, where's the other fucking? There's a third one too somewhere.
I can deal with that sixth nipple.
I mean, yeah, something like that. I'd probably be like, whatever.
Yeah. If it was that bad, I might ask just to cover it up.
Yeah.
But
And if it's something like that, down the road you can get it like taken care of. Like, I'm sure. If they don't personally like it and the relationship flourishes, you'd be like, listen, I know you've been you don't like whatever, you don't like this tail that you got. You know what I'm gonna do for you? I'm gonna pay to remove your tail.
George Costanza had a tail, right?
No, oh yeah, he did have the tail in the movie.
Yeah.
That's right, he had a tail. Because they were overly picky.
Yeah.
Because he was like, yeah, she's got webbed toes,
Yeah.
and he has a tail the whole time.
Yep.
And he was wearing a wig that movie too, because he's actually bald.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't know if he was bald in the movie, or I don't remember. It's been a long. I gotta watch. That's actually a good movie, Shallow Hal. I missed that movie. I wish he was still alive.
What? Wish he's still alive? He is still alive.
Oh, all right. Well, good. I'd see that movie though.
Pretty sure both of them are still alive.
Well, okay. So would you?
No, yeah. If you already got to know the girl, and it's not like I said, if it's something that like really bothers you when you see it, if you would like ask her, like, hey, do you mind covering that fucking weird mole up or whatever, that growth on your fucking back?
Right.
If she doesn't have a problem with that, then.
Yeah, I mean, if it would be different though, like if it was, like honestly, if it was something like a handicap, but this would be something you'd know in advance, like I don't think offhand I would outright be able just to say that I could date someone in like a wheelchair.
Right.
Like unless circumstances aligned it, because I know personally that's not something that I would be able to take care of very easily. I wouldn't be able to like help support that. Like I wouldn't be a good resource for that. At least I don't think. So that's yeah. If it was something small though, no. If it's something like you don't have any leg or you're paralyzed or something like that, like no, that's I can't.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah. Because there's so many things that I would want to do that I'd be like, well, is this wheelchair accessible?
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
I guess it's not. So I'm gonna leave you at the first step, and I'm gonna go in.
Yeah. There was this episode.
The Family Guy. Did you? Going with that?
No.
Where Joe's like, oh, my arch nemesis, the first step.
Oh yeah.
And it's just he can't get up with his wheelchair.
No, there was an episode of The Office, but it was the British one.
Yeah.
And it was Ricky Gervais is the fucking, what's his name?
Michael Scott.
He's the Michael Scott in that one. And he Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had this alert. It looked like I was like
Crypto Pete.
I get these alerts when I get billed for things, but the terminology that like Capital One or whatever or my fucking Citi card will give me is like purchase made exceeding this. I'm like, are you telling me I can't afford to pay the fucking Microsoft Game Pass bill? And it was like, no, it's just you paid it, but it exceeded $25. By how much? $25. Oh, okay, that's cool.
Right.
Anyway, so what was I gonna say? Oh, we were talking. God damn it! It fucking threw me right. Wheelchair. Oh, there's this episode of The Office, and he goes. They have like a fire drill, and then he wants to look like this is before woke because this is like 2000, but it was like he wants to be woke before woke, and so he's like, oh no, I'll take the person in the wheelchair down, and then he gets like halfway down the stairs and he's tired. And he's like, look, it's fake anyway. I'll come get you on the way back up, and he just leaves. He just leaves her in the stairwell, and she can't get it up or down.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so no, my last one here, was in regard to so here's something that, and this is something that I've gotten not in arguments about, but I've gotten in some heated debates on this one, because I just don't have any more patience for it. Is
AC Slater sitting backwards? You love that.
That's exactly it. I'm done with it. If you're sitting backwards like AC Slater, you can get the fuck out.
Dude, I wish I would have brought that folding chair over here because that's how I would have sat.
No, so here's a scenario. You've worked retail, right? You've done like a cash register or anything like that before? Okay. So you get it's a two-parter because there's two different scenarios. Number one, you're down in Detroit.
Okay.
Like in Detroit.
Like downtown?
Yeah,
or
like downtown Detroit.
All right.
And you get a dude coming up to say, kind of, they're begging for money, but they'll want to sell you like a bag of socks.
Okay.
In this scenario, do you give them? Do you buy the socks even though you don't want the socks, or do you be like, hey man, no man, just keep it moving,
It depends. Like if it's socks, like okay,
but here's the other caveat. You're down here every day. You're down there. You're not down there just for like a sporting event or something.
Then I'm like, dude, keep it moving. Like I don't want your shit. Like you see me every day, and no, I don't. I still don't have cash. On the contrary, we went to Raw.
Okay.
We come out, and there's a kid selling fucking candy bars.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? What are you selling them for? I think he was selling them for like his baseball team or whatever the fuck he was selling it for. I don't know. He was a fucking kid. I go, how many candy bars you got left? Like, how much are they? How many you got left? He's like, they're $2 or $3. He had like 4 left. I was like, look, man, here's a 20. I'll take them all.
Mm-hmm.
And I took the rest of them because there was a kid trying to fucking do something.
Mm-hmm.
Your scenario, I'm not fucking buying socks or like something from a grown ass dude that bothers me every fucking day. I'll do something nice for like a kid or like, even like if you could tell like the dude is homeless or something, give him a couple bucks or whatever. I'll do that. Don't try to fucking sell me anything. Opening day, this dude kept giving me fucking pins and saying that he was a veteran. And I was like, dude, I don't have any fucking money. And he's like, open up your hands. And I opened my hands and he put a bunch of pins in my hand. And then he's like, well, you're not going to make a donation? No, dude, I just told you I don't have any fucking money.
That's the good trick where they put it in your hands and be like, oh, where's the money now? You have it. It's like, dude, I didn't even want this.
Right.
Like you put it, like I've had people do that with CDs.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh, you want to get my CD?
And then they take them back.
Yeah.
They're like, no, give me that bag. I'm like, okay, well, you're the one that fucking put it in my hand. I told you I didn't have any money. God damn it.
Sometimes CDs, I will do it. I used to do it from time to time because I'm like, you know what? I want to see what you put on this thing. Like, I've never gotten one that was just a blank CD with nothing on it.
Right.
Which that's the ultimate scam, right? If you just fucking be like, fuck it, dude. People just say they'll buy my CD. It's not like they're going to listen to it right away.
With a Big Mac with a check in it.
Yeah. For $1. But no, that one I'll do because I'm curious because there was one dude that was downtown, and I think that he was a little off anyway, but he had like a whole like code. Like you saw the most recent Batman movie,
Yeah.
right? So you know how like the Riddler has like a code
Yeah.
thing. He's got like he wrote like some sort of code. He wrote everything, colored it in with pencil on loose leaf paper, but colored it in dark, so it was all black. And then he left white space to show the code images.
Okay.
And then he went and he folded it around a CD, and he's like, "Oh, this," and he was trying to sell me a CD, and he's like, "Listen, man, this is rap music, but this is like you've never heard before. This talks about space, time, the dimensions. Like this is gonna be fourth level shit or something like that." And I was like, "Dude, yeah, here's
You
$5.
sold me.
Here's $5, bro. Give me that shit. Like I want to
He's
see what this
rhyming
is."
Jupiter with stupider.
Like that's how you move something. But yeah, for me, like the sock thing, that actually happened to me. And that one was one of the last times where someone was with me and they're like, "Well, you should give him something." I was like, fuck off. No, I'm not. Like, I got to walk through this area every day when I go to work. And how many times can I give them $5 for socks?
Dude.
Like, when does that stop?
Me and B went down there, to meet you up.
Oh, yeah.
And it was when I was unemployed.
Right.
So I really didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And this guy, is yelling at us about, he's like, "You don't support us, we support you." And you know what I'm talking about, like as far as what they support.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, go fuck yourself. Like, no, that's not the case at all. I don't have any fucking money. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, the dude just, like, started, like, fucking basically calling me and B racist because we didn't give him any money.
Oh, yeah. That's always a smart tactic. That's just like insult the person until they give you money. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that one was there was a lot of times where they would have these people would have these different hustles, and I remember I was walking to work and I was always perpetually like on the cusp of being late, and they're like, "Hey man, I don't want any money, but if you could just buy me a sandwich," I'm like, "Fuck off. I am not going to be 10 minutes late for work. Why are you late?" "Well, this lady didn't have any money, but she didn't want me to think she was getting drugs, so she had me buy her a sandwich." Like, I don't have time for that shit.
Right.
Like, and so what had happened is over all those years of that and various other things in my, people in my personal life that we had met that maybe went to prison for God knows how long amount of time. Well, apparently is out now.
Yeah.
That I was surprised.
One name.
Yeah.
Like Seal.
Yeah. Yes. With all their little hustles and everything, like I am shut down. Like I won't. Where we used to live, there's that gas station but next to the Meijer.
Yep.
Dude, I would go there all the time because it was by the gym.
Right.
And I'd stop and get like a drink on the way back or a snack. And every time it was like, "Hey man, you got any money?" And I remember one guy, I was walking out of the gas station. My car wasn't even at the gas pump. I just parked in front. And he goes, my man, let me say." I'm like, "Nope, not doing it." He's like, "What are you coming at me like that for?" "I didn't, what do you mean?" I was like, "No." It's like, "Why are you coming at me like that?" "I didn't even want any money." Good. I don't care what you want. Leave me alone.
Right.
Like, I had a guy jump out from behind a van at the Meijer being like, "Slow down, man." He literally put his hands out in front of me, like as if to stop me. He's like to calm me down. Like, "I don't mean to surprise you." Like, "Slow down. I ran out of gas. My wife is on the phone, and she said that I need to get money to get gas." I'm like, "What?" Wait, your wife told you need to panhandle outside why didn't she send you some money? Like, I don't. It's like, "Listen, he told me this. I run a paint business." That's what he told me. He's out here.
I get your paints for half the price.
I was doing a paint job. The guy stiffed me on it. This is what he told me. And my wife said that she ain't going to give me money to come back. And I need to get. I'm like, how? And it's always like, it's rough. It's always like, how much $10. Never like $1.
Right.
Never. It's like, because then I think I asked. He's like, "I gotta get to." It wasn't very far either, and I was like, $10.
Right.
You need a fucking half a tank. This was back before $4 a gallon. These were the Trump days. So like, you can get yourself 4 gallons with $10. I'm like, you just tell me you got to go like 2 miles. I'll give you a fucking $4. You'll be set.
So I had an interesting scenario at the same location
Okay.
that you were at, like close. I was at the Taco Bell,
Yeah.
and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "Do you have a couple dollars to spare?"
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls out pulls out of his pocket. He pulls out a decent sized wad,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, he's like, said something like, "I'm like $5 or $10 short of being able to get a fucking hotel room." He's like, "I got nowhere to stay." Like, it was like, I don't know if it was winter or what.
Yeah.
And I think he was homeless, but he's
Yeah.
like, "I almost have enough to get a hotel room across the street because that fucking shitty ass motel is right
Yeah.
across." And I was like, "Look, you know what? I do have fucking $5. Here you go,
Well,
man."
you know what it depends on is like it depends on the hustle on it. Like, or how do you want to approach this thing? Like that is like that's a reasonable thing, and you're like you can understand being like, man, I've been there where I'm a couple dollars shy. I'm not busted broke,
Right.
but I'm just a couple dollars shy of getting what I need to get to. Like I did that once when I was really young, at like a fucking. I
We were
remember
just trying to get liquor outside of a store.
No. I was at a KFC, and I was starving because I had just started this job, and I was traveling all over the place, and I was like, man, and I bought like the cheapest thing because the only thing around was a fucking KFC,
Right.
and KFC's not the cheapest,
Right.
even 15 years ago, and I remember I was like a 60 cents shy, and I didn't realize it because maybe I didn't do the math right in my
Right.
head, and I get up to the window. And she's like, "This isn't all of it." I'm like, "That's all I got." And she was like, she just looked at me with like a pitiful look, and she gave me my fucking piece of fucking chicken, like a
popcorn chicken.
it was either popcorn chicken or a chicken breast or something dumb. And I definitely understand, but yeah, it depends on your approach. But you can't just come to me shouting at me across the fucking parking lot or jumping out of the dark.
Right.
Like there was one time though. And I was younger, and I was a little bit more giving when I was younger because I hadn't been burnt out by it, and I was working in Pontiac, and I was at these.
The yak.
I'd go to these party stores all the time, and I'd go there early, and everyone would line up early to fucking pay their bills over there, cash their paychecks depending on the day of the week. Usually this was a Thursday anyway, so they probably got paid, and so you just cash it there. And then, of course, we were loading in all beer. And that was we sold a lot of, like, just cheap malt liquors, Hurricane, fucking
baby.
Mickey's,
The
that type of shit.
Hurricane.
And so I would, it wasn't uncommon someone would be like, "Hey, man, you got, like, 25 cents." Because I get it. They're trying to just, whatever it is. They're going to get a 40 of something, or maybe they're trying to get a snack or something,
Right.
And but there was this one dude. And this turned me off of it for a while back then. He was like, "Man, you got like 50 cents." And I used to just keep extra change in my car all the time because at that age, at that time, that extra change could get me fucking home or get me fed,
Right.
from a long day, especially when I was broke. So I was like, you know what? Here, I reached in. I had like a couple dimes. And he holds out of his whole hand has got like to the brim. And he had a big adult man hand. Okay? And it's literally filled with like all quarters. And I'm like, "Bro, can you give me the other hand? Like, why wouldn't you give me the other hand to make me think you had
Maybe
nothing?"
he's got a little DJ Paul hand.
No, he had two regular hands.
How do you know he's got two regular hands?
He had two regular
Maybe
hands.
he had a little hand.
No. He
Grab my strong hand. Maybe he had one of those hands. My germs.
No, he just insulted me with
No,
it.
man.
Like,
he
I
had
got you,
he
sucker.
had a little hand.
Got you for 20 cents.
He had a little hand.
So, yeah, I mean, if nowadays, if it's somebody coming up, if you don't got a good hustle, if you don't got like here's the thing, if you want to panhandle to me, if you see me out in public and you want $1 or $2 or 10, I think the most I've ever given was like 20. There was one guy I gave like $20. His name was, what was his name? Was it not Smurf? What was his name? It was like maybe it was like Uncle Smurf or something like that.
Okay.
I think his name was Uncle
How
Smurf.
the fuck did you know his name?
Because he came up and introduced himself a couple times. It was
right.
near one of the patio bars I was at. when I worked downtown. I think it was Papa Smurf. His name was Papa Smurf. That's what it was, not Uncle Smurf. Papa Smurf. And I did give him $20 one time because I was like, I kind of felt bad, but I also was like paying like, hey, here's $20. Never ask me again. We're
like,
good.
He's like, yo, bro, can I get another 20?
We're good. Of course he did. That's my fault. I should have done that. Papa Smurf got me. He did save Jack White's guitar. He told me that story. He's like, yeah, look me up. And truthfully, he did. White Stripes came, and they were playing at like St. Andrews, and someone tried to steal Jack White's guitar, and
Papa Smurf got it back?
He got it back. My thing is, Papa Smurf is crafty. Papa Smurf probably stole it and said, hey, I caught the guy that stole it. Here it is. Can I have $20? He was a crafty individual. He gave me lucky beads.
I mean, sometimes you gotta be sometimes you gotta be crafty.
Well,
I think that's close to a wrap.
that is, I think we covered it. I think we covered it pretty well. Obviously, Turnbuckle Tuesday every Tuesday, or
Yep.
most Tuesdays.
Most Tuesdays. Check out the Instagram, the Twitter.
Yes.
You know, we don't
YouTube.
really use Facebook, but the YouTube.
No, Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, more like Suckerberg, because that website sucks. It's not like Musk Twitter.
I will destroy you.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited for Musk Twitter, though.
Yeah, Musk Twitter.
Like, he should just change it to Musk. Like, instead of sending a tweet.
Musker?
Yeah,
You Musk?
change it to Musker. Like, did you send it? I'm sending a Musk right now.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got to send
I'm
a Musk.
down with that. And it's just his face as the app. Like,
yeah, instead of the bird, it's like a Musk head.
Yeah.
And instead of like a tweet, so sometimes when you like refresh, it'll give you like a whoop, the thing. Instead, it'll be like Musk.
Super deep voice. Musk. Your musk has been sent. But until next time, yeah, check us all out on that shit. But until next time, what you gonna do, brother, when Melvin Troy and Bob